For two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 234 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. We are, of course, part of the Going for Two Live podcast network. You can find us here every Wednesday night and Friday night on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, syndicated in all your major podcast networks, and of course in the Going for Two app for iOS and Android. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Glad we brought my co-host from my other show on tonight. Had a little crossover, which is always exciting, and he can actually make it, unlike Eric when we tried.
Yes, so let me introduce your other co-host from your other show, Anthony, host of the Dynasty Drive and co-host of the Dynasty Draft Room with our very own Ryan Searfoss. You can follow him on Twitter at Dynasty Drive. What's up, Anthony?
Nothing much, guys. I'm happy to make it. I couldn't make the Dynasty Draft Room pod with Ryan, so I had to make it to Ryan's other show. I made room for you guys, and I couldn't make room for my own stuff.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the way I understand it...
I won't tell anybody else.
The way I understand it, you're like stuck because some bridge was under construction or something. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a long story, but the bridge that leads into my community went out, so me and the family have been holed up at my mom's house for the past couple of days. So we're heading home tomorrow and then back to business as usual.
Good stuff. All right, for those that don't know what you do, give us a rundown of what you do in the fantasy space, your podcast, anything else that you may do on Twitter, etc.
Yeah, for sure. So the podcast that I started a little over a year ago, the Dynasty Drive, comes out once a week, typically on first thing Friday mornings. Goes year round. I'll probably start, working back into rookie stuff for 2022 pretty soon here. And then we do the Dynasty Draft Room, me, Eric, and Ryan once a week as well. That'll roll year round. And then most, if not all of any of the written content that I do is over at NFL Draft Bible. So that's over at si.com/NFL/draft.
Good stuff. How long have you been doing this? Just curious.
I guess closing in on like a year and a half. So toyed around with the idea for, a long time. And I wanted to start a podcast and just kind of kick the can down the road. Never did it. And I think eventually my wife just got tired of hearing me say I wanted to do it. So she was the one that finally was just do it. And I started doing it and I've really enjoyed it. Met some cool people and having a blast.
Good stuff. Yeah, your wife's more cooler than my wife, because my wife, I told her I want to do a podcast and she's like, no way, you don't have time. I'm like, come on.
I think mine's at that point now.
Yeah, it's flipped very quickly, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, good stuff. Let's get to the 5 101s.
And now, the 5 101s.
All right, the way this works, we give our guest 5 categories, and they give us their 101 of that category. And because we entered in November now, we are officially in holiday season. The first category I have here is your 101 for holiday food.
Yeah, we're in holiday season, but it's Christmas in my household, right? We're Christmas household, so we skip to it real early. And I have a terrible, horrible sweet tooth. So I'll take a cop out, and I'm just going all encompassing Christmas cookies. Like, I love
Nice.
Desserts. I love sweets. Christmas cookies are the true 101 of the holiday season.
If you want to swing by Pittsburgh,
Ryan's
middle
girlfriend.
of December, my girlfriend goes on a 3-day binge where she leaves the house and bakes cookies for 3 days. Last year, she made 125 dozen.
Oh, let's go.
Insane.
Yeah.
Over 30% of those are in my house after they're packaged to give away and split with the other lady baking. You know the temptation constantly for me.
Well,
That's crazy.
I will, like we said, I'll have a bridge again, so I'll drop my address, and you guys can,
Swing on by.
FedEx or drop ship me some cookies.
I shoot some cookies. Yeah, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say that number.
Yeah, he showed me
That's
pictures
wild.
of it last year. It's insane. It's truly insane.
It's like the whole kitchen's just cookies.
I love it. I love it. That's like a dream come true.
All right, next category we have here is your 101 for video game franchise. So not just a single game, but we're talking like Super Mario Brothers or, whatever, one that has more than one game attached to it.
I love this one, and I thought about it for a while, but I had to go with my heart, and it's The Legend of Zelda. I love Zelda. Huge Zelda guy.
Love it.
Old, new, in between. I'm a huge fan of that franchise. So the new stuff, Breath of the Wild, all the way back to Ocarina of Time, and everything in between, and the real early, Super Nintendo stuff, regular Nintendo stuff. Zelda's where it's at for me. Always loved like the puzzle strategy aspect of it.
Yep. I'm a huge fan as well. Actually, my ringtone on my phone is actually the Zelda theme from the original 16-bit or 8-bit, whatever it was back on the regular Nintendo. That's my ringtone. I just got my daughter involved in it too now. She's got a Switch, and she's got both the Zelda games for the Switch now. So she's 8,
awesome.
so get her started early.
Absolutely.
All right, next one here is your 101 for fast food French fries. This one I stole from a magazine. My wife had her magazine sitting on top of the table when I was eating my breakfast. I was like, you know what? We're going to put this one into the show.
Dude, I think this is the first one where I'm really gonna judge somebody's response for.
Oh, I'm
for the
nervous
last
now.
the last 4 or 5 weeks doing this, nothing's been real controversial. I feel like French fries fast food places is.
All right. I'm gonna go Burger King for French fries. I'm a fan of the Burger King French fries. It's they're always. I feel like they're consistent.
Yeah,
Maybe you don't get the upside with some other French fries.
the
but,
upside. I love it.
always kind of firm,
And you
crunchy.
just-
You got the solid.
You just dropped a notch.
The Burger King fries have a solid floor but no ceiling, right? We'll give some fantasy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So Ryan, you got to give us yours now. What is your 101?
I mean, it's obviously McDonald's.
Oh, that's no way. Come
They're
on.
perfect. They're crispy.
Yeah, on like the right day.
They're perfect.
So I actually have 2. 'Cause I don't know if one of them technically counts as fast food, and that's Five Guys. I don't know if Five Guys counts as a fast food restaurant, but Five Guys,
that's a pretty
greasy,
good one.
greasy ass fries. I love their fries. But if I had to pick a true fast food with a drive-through and the whole nine, I'm going Chick-fil-A with their waffle fries.
Those are good. Yeah, they're up there.
That's also a good one.
I mean, Burger King's like the Jarvis Landry of French fries.
It's reliable. You could count on them.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's it.
He's your bye-week fill-in.
You're never satisfied.
All right, next one we got here is favorite or 101 in your of movie bad guys.
I hate to be like, I feel like it's recency bias almost, but I gotta go Thanos. Thanos is a bad dude. It's hard to not pick Thanos. He's a bad dude. Like, there's some bad dudes, but Thanos is that bad dude.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think I saw a countdown of movie bad guys, and I think he ended up being number 1 or number 2. I think him and Darth Vader were right up there at the top. I think Darth Vader was the other one that was up there.
Vader's a good one too.
All right, and the final one, we always give this one just to because it's we always drink beer on the show and have Ryan drinks whiskey occasionally, but you're a 101 for adult beverage.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey guy also, and I like a lot of it. I think 101. I feel like Ryan's going to shame me again because I'm going to go with something that I can count on consistency wise. The 101's Jack Daniels. It's 101 is Jack Daniels. It's solid. It's good. You can mix it. You can drink it straight. It'll always get the job done for you. Also in consideration was Woodford.
I love Woodford. I could never say a bad word about Jack Daniels. That's an American hero right there.
Slandered me on fries, but not on whiskey. We're good.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, you've regained your status there.
If you had been like some $12 bottle, it might have been different. Like, you're not a whiskey fan.
If I threw out like Evan Nelson or
good stuff. All right, let's get right into it.
News and notes from around the league.
All right, news and notes, as always, brought to you by the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Everybody hates bad offers, right? No one wants to be that guy. Never make a bad offer again with Dynasty Trade Calculator. Visit goingfor2.com/DTC to sign up for $15 a year. That's right. All you do is go to goingfor2.com/DTC. Get the best trade calculator for $15 a year. Stop guessing, start calculating. All right, so we have a ton of news. I had to add some stuff in there after today's, news flurry. But we'll start off with some of the things that happened over this weekend. Derrick Henry, obviously, pretty much gone for the fantasy season, so to speak. He might come back and get a game or two in there. But Ryan, I know you lost Derrick Henry in one of your leagues, so we'll go to you first. What do you do with this backfield now?
I mean, I didn't get any of the replacements in it, whether it be McNichols or Peterson. I think it's Peterson's the real role of the group, just because that offense goes through power football, power running, and that's what Peterson does. I mean, Nichols is more of a change of pace guy. It's not there for me, but I don't think you get 60% of the output you get Derrick Henry with any of these backs. Like, we normally leave a backup come in like 80%, 70% of what the guy can do. Like, when Madison comes in for Cook, you don't see a drop off. We're going from the absolute best running back into the league to a guy who came off the street.
Yep.
Like, I'm not there. It's going to be the passing games that either have to step up or it's a dumpster fire.
And that was my question to you, Anthony. So let's just assume that Adrian Peterson is not Derrick Henry. A pretty good assumption there. This passing offense, what happens there? I mean, Julio Jones is still in and out of the lineup. AJB and Tannehill are there, but that play action fake isn't going to be quite as powerful as it was when Derrick Henry was back there.
Yeah, definitely not as lethal as it is with Henry in the backfield. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, the hope has to be that they can get some sort of consistency out of Julio moving forward. Because we all knew it going into the season, right? It was like, oh, okay, this offense is built around AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, and if anybody gets hurt, there's trouble. Well, we're there. Like, Julio's been banged up. Henry's going to miss the remainder of the fantasy season, what it looks like. I think if it's just AJ Brown, you'll get the big blow up AJ Brown weeks, but for that team to kind of progress real NFL terms wise, they need to count on Julio getting back in the lineup. And, maybe he doesn't need to be Julio from a couple of years ago, but he's got to be more than what he's been the past couple of weeks when he has made it out there. Yeah,
I agree 100%. I think Julio's got to step up and take off some of that pressure off of AJB, because now it's going to be pretty much stop AJB and you stop the Titans if Julio can't step up there. Let's go to Julio's former team. Calvin Ridley, of course, was supposed to be the Julio Jones replacement there in Atlanta. He had missed one game in London on personal reasons. We didn't know why. Now we kind of do. It's a mental health issue. He's decided to step away from football. We don't know for how long. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first, just on Calvin Ridley. If you're an owner of Calvin Ridley in Dynasty or even in Redraft, what are you doing with him?
So, two different things. Redraft, I'm probably trying to move on. I'm not exactly sure what for, but I'm trying to move on. In Dynasty, I'm probably going to buy him, because whatever you're going to give up is probably around what you'd give for a early to mid-round first. Mm-hmm. And we at least know the upside with Ridley is a wide receiver one. And there's still going to be a good chance he comes back. If I have an 80% chance of him coming back, that's better than the 50% chance I have of a rookie turning into him. So I'm going to play the odds on that and try to buy him in Dynasty.
Yeah,
and if I have, I'm holding.
We've kind of already seen what he can do when he's, right in the head, and he has, he gets those targets from Matt Ryan, and I think you're right. I think you take that shot on a rookie, you don't know what you're going to get with Calvin Ridley. If he comes back, then I think he's definitely one of those top 10-ish wide receivers. So I agree. So Anthony, I'm gonna go to you and talk about what's there. We all expected Russell Gage to break out. That hasn't happened. They still have OZ, who hasn't done a whole lot of anything. The guy that's kind of getting the targets when Ridley's been out has been Tajay Sharp of all people. Is there anybody besides Pitts that you want in this offense, in the passing offense?
Oh, for this year, I want Scordero Patterson, baby. Give me my shares of Patterson, but. Yeah, long term it's Pitts, and consistency wise it's Pitts. The Cordero Patterson stuff is fun, but it's like still weird usage, but like super high efficiency.
Yep.
But he keeps doing it, so it seems like the offense will run through like a weird amount of Tajay Sharp, like he said. But Pitts and I think Cordero Patterson are the big guys for this year, and it stinks. I hope Calvin Ridley. I hope he's all right. He's a super fun player to watch, and I hope he gets through whatever he needs to work through. But
Agreed.
I agree with what Ryan said. It's he's probably a buy for me. He's either a buy or a hold for me in Dynasty for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I've already tried buying him, and no one's selling right now. So I think after a couple of games of him not being there, his price will go down a little bit more, and I might be able to buy him. So agree 100%. All right, let's stick to the wide receivers here, Ryan. I'll go to you, Mr. Odell Beckham Jr. Basically told today by the Browns that he's no longer part of the team. Told him basically to go home, and he was done. So let's talk about his future in the NFL and with the Browns, if there is anything with the Browns. What are you doing with him as an owner in Dynasty?
Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing with Odell. I feel like you have to hold him, because you're not going to get somebody offering you more than a third for Odell. It's a shit situation. And then, you have Baker Mayfield, after all this happened, saying if he got apologized to, he'd be okay with him coming back.
Yeah.
You got to just hold on and pray he goes somewhere and they let him go after the season, because it ain't happening in Cleveland. And he's not.
Any chance they downright cut him, or do you think they just hold him his contract the rest of the season?
They said today they weren't cutting him.
Oh,
it's just hilarious.
So
he's just getting paid to stay home. He's gonna be 29. He's gonna be 29 next season.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's gonna be 30 by the end of next season. He's not young anymore. And if I can get a second rounder for him, I'd probably take a Dynasty.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
But not last, because it's just not worth it.
Yep. All right, let's look at what's left of this team with OBJ out, and even Landry. I saw today wasn't practicing, and then you got Anthony Schwartz is there. You got Donovan Peoples-Jones is there. Both of them have shown flashes, but neither one of them have really been anything. Anybody you're interested in that passing offense there? If OBJ and possibly even Landry are no longer there, Anthony?
I don't mind stashing either of those guys long term in Dynasty. Peoples-Jones and Schwartz. Schwartz is still floating out there on some waiver wires, and Peoples-Jones is rostered most places, but you could get them super, super cheap. But they've both flashed. They could both, rip the top off of defense. They could both get deep. It's a weird passing offense and a team that, can run the ball as well as anybody. But the Odell Beckham thing hasn't worked out, and we've seen the best of what we'll see from Jarvis Landry. The Burger King fries of football, but there's not a lot of real promising. You gotta go buy that wide receiver. But I'm fine with stashing Schwartz or Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, I have both of them actually in one league in hopes that one of them would sort of pan out, and I'm still hoping that one of them will still pan out because I have them both. But with OBJ gone, that kind of opens the door a little bit for one of those two guys to step up. Staying with the receivers here, we'll talk about Henry Ruggs. We won't talk about the situation with Henry Ruggs, more so about what is left there. Ryan, obviously, Darren Waller, probably gets more targets, but then you got Renfrow, who's having a really good season. Bryan Edwards, who was a sort of a preseason darling to break out. Does he break out? Is there anybody else there that you're interested in that might step into that role? He was kind of the deep threat guy anyway, so he wasn't, super startable to begin with, but any advantage at all?
I think those guys are going to see the biggest bomb. Even though I don't know how much it's going to be, because that's a big part of their offense going. when you have a guy who can beat you deep at any single point in time, that makes that offense scary. They can just load the box now and just keep these guys in front of them. Because Hunter Renfro's not really a big play guy. Neither is Brian Edwards. And then Zay Jones is flash when he's in there, but it's not anything I really want fantasy-wise for him. So I'm not super excited about any pieces of this anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. And I'll just go to you, Anthony, with the same question there. Any pieces you're interested in that passing offense besides, obviously, Waller?
I'm still interested in Brian Edwards. I was in on Brian Edwards last year in rookie drafts, and even preseason bought into the breakout a little bit. Ruggs got the biggest increase in work, but I think that when Brian Edwards gets his number called, he tends to deliver. So I'm hopeful that this leads to him getting some more consistent usage, and Derek Carr looking his way a little bit more. It's hard because he doesn't have that same skill set Ruggs did. So I don't think it'll be something where he wins deep super regularly, but I think we could see a bump in usage there. And if we do, he's somebody I still like, long term as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you can get him cheap right now, you probably would go out and get it. I've been trying to buy him forever in all my leagues, even before this whole situation, trying to get him for cheap, but a lot of the owners that drafted him are still expecting him to break out, and they're not selling yet. So, and now with this news, they'll probably raise their price even higher because now they think, oh, he's definitely going to break out now. I guess time will tell.
I still want somebody across from him. Like, I want an explosive receiver across from him. Like, I don't want him doubled.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that dude.
Yep, I agree 100%.
That's fair.
Have somebody take the top off the defense like Ruggs was doing for them. All right, let's go to two guys here that have tested positive for COVID. One of them is definitely not playing this weekend. One of them potentially could play because he was vaccinated. But we'll go with Aaron Rodgers here first. Obviously, tested positive, was not vaccinated properly. I guess he was sort of vaccinated with some alternative method that was not approved by the NFL. So he is out for this Sunday, regardless of what happens with the test from here on out. What's that do with the skill pieces here? I'll go to you first this time, Anthony. So you got Devontae Adams, obviously, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Lazard. Rodgers isn't there anymore. What do you do with those guys?
I think I've kind of come full circle on this, where at first I was like, oh, this is big time arrow down, even for Devontae and Aaron Jones. But I think I'm still pretty in on both those big name guys because I think they probably lean on Aaron Jones a little more than they would typically with Rodgers back there. And I think Devontae Adams is good enough to, pretty much be quarterback proof. He's going to get his targets and, maybe it won't be quite the upside you get with a guy like Rodgers, but those two, I'm still putting out there. I'm still playing Aaron Jones. I'm still playing Devontae Adams. I'm probably not, rolling the dice on any of those deeper wide receiver guys like Lazard, Randall Cobb, any of that, because I'm not taking the dart throw without Rodgers there. But I'm still pretty comfortable starting both Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams.
All right, what about you, Ryan? Same feel, or you feel differently?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little hesitant about Adams, but he's also Devontae Adams, so I'm still going to play him if I have him. There's not somebody on my bench who I'd rather play than Devontae Adams, even though it could make sense. I think it's an uptick for Aaron Jones, and I think it's big for A.J. Dillon, man. I think they're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Try to keep Mahomes and off the field. This could be a game script where they run 40 times, 50 times between the two of those guys, and I'm all for it fantasy-wise.
Yeah, actually, spoiler alert, that was one of my my players in our next segment here with A.J. Dillon, so I'll go ahead and just talk about him a little bit. I think Dillon is already seeing an increase in usage with Rodgers back there. I think he's been getting more and more carries, and I think this is going to continue even more so in this game. And for fantasy, obviously for season long, if you need a starter with the injuries or bye weeks, he's definitely startable. In DFS, I love Dillon this week, so fire him up for sure. I think Dillon's going to have a monster game. The other guy on the COVID list is Saquon Barkley, which we've already kind of gotten accustomed to not having Barkley in the lineup here. But we kind of figured that he might come back this week. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first on the situation here with Barkley. There's a chance he still might be cleared to play. Let's say he is cleared to play coming off this injury. Do you just plug and play? I mean, is he to that point where you're just going to start him regardless, or are you worried about it?
I mean, I legit thought he was not. I still didn't believe that he was playing this week. I haven't done it. I haven't fully done my lineups yet, but I don't have him in yet. I didn't have him in yet. Then the COVID thing happened. I could see them not rushing it. if I have him and no better options, I guess. But if I have like a Chuba Hubbard or Elijah Mitchell or Khalil Herbert, I'll probably lean that way just because I know they're healthy and will play.
Yeah. What about you, Anthony? What's your thoughts on Saquon Barkley here?
Ryan, you said exactly what I was thinking. Like, I wonder if the COVID thing, I don't want to say like builds them in an excuse, but like kind of gives them that like, well, we can take one more week without Saquon. So that's the same reason I don't have him in any of my lineups right now where I have him, because I'm not super confident he's going to be out there. I think you're probably pretty spot on with where I am. Like, if I have an option I feel decent about, like an Elijah Mitchell or something like that, I'm probably starting him over rolling with Saquon. But running back is pretty gross with all the injuries that have happened recently and with bye weeks being here. So if I don't, and he is active, it's going to be tough because you might be in a position where you have to play him and just hope that you're not getting that like weird decoy Saquon role where he doesn't get any of the work. But that would be unfortunate, but that's kind of the state of affairs at running back right now.
Yep, I agree 100%. All right, so these last four topics here, we'll just go quick fire. I'll just do one for each of you. Ryan, you get the Saints QB situation here. We're assuming, I guess, Taysom Hill is going to be the quarterback this week, not Trevor Siemian. Kamara, Traquan Smith, any impact on any of those guys?
I'm not a Taysom Hill person. I hate the offense with him. I hated it when even the head MT there before he decided he hated so much he didn't show up. Like, Kamara's the only one I want. The rest of that offense can kick rocks in my book. Maybe tight end, like, but no, I don't. I just kind of want Kamara and nothing else.
What about Mark
and
Ingram?
Superflex, I guess I'll take Taysom.
What about Mark Ingram? Any interest in Mark Ingram if they come even more run heavy than they were before?
Yeah, I kind of forgot about him. He love Mark Ingram, and they'll still run him there. And if they're trying to make it the playoffs, that's their best bet. Is those two backs.
Agreed.
But I don't want those receivers, man.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't want them when they were throwing the ball well.
Yeah.
I sure thought I want them now with them.
Yep, agree 100%. All right, I'm going to go to you, Anthony. On the show sheet, I just wrote down, who the fuck is Derek Gore? When I saw him getting carries the other night, I was like, who is this guy? Is this like Frank Gore's like son? Is this like, I didn't know who he was. Is this guy?
Copy that question right off of Google when you type the guy's name in. That's the first thing that pops up is who the fuck is Derek Gore? Followed by, is he Frank Gore's son?
Yeah, right.
Like, those are the first two things that pop up.
That's awesome.
That's like the one thing we learned, right? That he's not related to Frank Gore. That's the one thing we all wondered, and then we were all like, "Oh, so he's not that guy."
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. But it's weird because I think you have to at least pay like a little bit of attention to it, right? For the same reason, I don't want to say for the same reasons you either did or didn't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but should be a high-powered offense, and he got in the end zone, and running back is gross, and there's injuries everywhere. So it looks like he could matter at least in the short term. I mean, he looked pretty good. He looked decent. He got in the end zone, and it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember how many carries he got. I think somewhere in the 11, 12, 13 range. 11 carries, and I think he had...
and then Williams had 14 plus catches.
Yeah, so I think he had more yards per carry than Williams did, too. He looked more explosive to me, at least the eye test of it as well. So I guess Derek Gore is a thing right now. All right, I'm going to go to you, Ryan, on this one here. Travis Kelce. What is wrong with Travis Kelce? Do we see him age like in a span of like 3 games, or is this just a product of this offense being not what it was last year?
I think it's a process of everybody in the NFL realizing that you just double him in double Hill constantly and just rotate who you double, because that's the way it goes. Kelce's double teamed, Hill in either order, and then run around yellow. Like, that's the offense. And if you're doubling him every time, it's not him not getting open, because we've seen him make extraordinary plays this year. It's not on him. It's this offense right now has become one-dimensional. We don't really respect the run. It's those two guys, and that's it. And the league has just gotten smart.
Yeah, I think they kind of illustrate that a little bit on the telecast the other night where they showed the all 52, and they had 2 guys on Kelsey, they had 2 guys on Hill. The other 3 guys out in the routes all had man-to-man coverage, and all of them were covered because they're not good at getting open, and Mahomes had nowhere to throw the ball. So I think you're right on that. I think that's spot on.
Offense.
It's just,
and it's not bad defense, it's just bad defense is doing it.
Yep, agreed. All right, last situation here with Tua Tagovailoa. Basically, I wanted to know, we heard the trade rumors. We didn't know if he was going to be there or not. Okay, so now the trade deadline's passed. Tua now knows that he is at least the quarterback for the rest of this year. How do you feel about him going forward, though? Do you think he becomes the guy where he's like, I'm going to prove it to them that I'm the guy? Or do you think he goes the other route and says, screw this team, I'm not going to be here next year probably anyway, and it doesn't play very well?
I think Tua does enough and is the kind of guy that wants to show that he's the guy. I believe in Tua, and I'm glad that it did not make a move at quarterback, because Tua, when he's been healthy, he's looked pretty good. Like, he's looked better than he did last year.
Yep.
He looks like he's ready to kind of continue his growth as a young quarterback. I mean, he didn't look great against Buffalo, but Buffalo might be the best team in the AFC. Like, that's a good defense and probably the best team in that conference. The couple weeks before that, I mean, against Atlanta, 4 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Against Jacksonville, over 300 yards passing and 2 scores. I'm glad that they didn't just kind of cast him aside and make a splashy move that maybe results in all the right and wrong headlines at the same time. But I think Tua can do enough to show that they made the right decision for their franchise. I'm still a big believer in him long term.
Yeah, I'm with you, because you're right. He did look good. I know those are 2 bad teams that we just talked about, but I mean, that's what you have to do as a quarterback, take advantage of the bad teams and put up big numbers, and that's exactly what he did. And so I do agree. I think Tua will be fine going forward. If Miami decides to hold on to them, I think he'll be fine there. If he goes somewhere else, then it gets a little bit iffy, because then that next team that he goes to may not believe in him the same way. So it'll be a little bit scary if he does get traded to somewhere else.
I don't know. A new team might believe in him more than the Dolphins do, because they're trash.
Fair.
They're just treating him so terribly.
Yeah, it really is.
They really are. They really are.
You couldn't treat a quarterback worse than him, who's done nothing but do his best.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. All right, let's get to our next segment.
Stock up, stock down.
All right, stock up, stock down. These guys will give me a couple of guys that they are high on this week based on the matchups or based on if there's an injury on the team or whatever the case may be. And then we'll give a few stock down guys, some players that we're lower on this week. And Anthony, you're the guest, so we'll go to you first. Give me one of your stock up players.
Well, we're just talking Dolphins. We're just talking Tua. One of my stock up guys is Jalen Waddle.
You son of a bitch.
I'm glad I got to go first. I love Jalen Waddle, and like we said about Tua, I think that Buffalo defense is legit, and they kind of smothered both Waddle and Tua last week. But the Houston Texans are not legit. They are not a great defense.
They're legit bad.
Yeah, they're legit bad. I think Waddle and Tua both get back on track. Waddle, I mean, the usage is there. I mean, last week it didn't turn into a whole lot, but 11 targets last week, 8 targets the week before, 13 targets the week before that. He's good. Tua trusts him. I love the matchup, and I think both those guys cook a little bit this week against the Texans.
I like it. I like it a lot. Ryan, so you got sniped on one of your stock up players. You got another one there on your list?
Oh, yeah. The other one was Stephon Diggs. We're getting real close to that breakout with him. Like, I know we've all been a little bit down on him, but we still have 4 games with 10-plus targets.
Mm-hmm.
We've had no games under 5. And, like, it's there. It just hasn't happened yet. And the Jags aren't really the best defense out there, and they'll keep throwing enough where they may make Buffalo still throw. So I think we could see a big game out of Diggs, because that offense is at its best when he's doing his thing.
I like it. And both of my stock up guys, we kind of already stole the thunder on. A.J. Dillon already mentioned. I like him this week. I think he's startable if you need to in a pinch. The other guy, Anthony, talked about him and said the same thing that I said, so maybe it's not something that I'm higher on. But Devontae Adams, I think people are going to be down on him because it's Jordan Love. But if you look at his Adams' numbers, without Rodgers, and you extrapolate over a full season, his numbers don't take a dip at all. And he's had some pretty bad quarter. I can't think of the guy's name that was from Cleveland, came over to the Packers for a while, quarterbacked a couple of games. He actually had some pretty good games with him. I can't think of his name right now, but don't be down on Adams. Don't think about benching him for anybody. I think Adams is going to be just fine this week. So those are both of my stock up players. Let's go stock down, Anthony. What you got?
All right, one of my stock down guys, and it kills me to say this because I feel like I caped for this guy all offseason long, is Damian Harris. I don't love Damian Harris against the Panthers. Brian, did I steal another one of your guys?
I wish I could show you my sheet right now.
Well, it's almost like we do a podcast together.
Right? Don't worry, I have so much hate to dispute. I'll be able to find another one.
But I love Harris, the player. My problem is that Carolina gives up the 5th fewest fantasy points to running backs so far this season. Harris isn't going to get the passing work. It'll be some combination of Brandon Bolden, maybe Ramondre Stevenson. Who knows? Maybe it's all tight ends or all Jacoby Myers. But I love Harris as a runner and what he can contribute to that offense. I just don't think this is the week for him. I think he's going to have a tough time getting going on the ground against that Carolina front seven.
I like it.
He has a rough schedule coming up.
He does.
It's rough. I mean, we got Panthers, Browns. We got an extra preview in the Falcons, and Titans, Bills, Colts, Bills.
Oof.
That's through the fantasy playoffs. That's rough.
That is,
rough for a back that doesn't give you anything in the passing game.
Yep, 100%. All right, Ryan, what you got for your stock down?
I have the Cardinals' backfield, as a tandem together, because they haven't been playing well. They've been James Conner's been doing well in the red zone. Edmonds has been catching balls, doing his thing. But it's a much different offense this week with Kyler Murray not there. I don't want this with Colt McCoy, and we're not going to see those red zone opportunities now with James Conner. We're not going to see any fear of really anything in the running game with them. And I think it's a whole downgrade for the whole offense, but especially those guys.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one as well. I only have one stock down that we hadn't already talked about, and this guy, we kind of mentioned him a little bit in the news and notes as being the only one there basically in that offense, and if you're going to be the only one in the offense, you do not want to be playing the Rams and Jalen Ramsey, and that's A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown, you can stock down on A.J. Brown a little bit. Obviously, you're probably still starting him, but temper expectations a little bit. I do think that Ramsey is going to obviously shadow A.J. Brown, and if he's the only one out there right now, it's going to be a tough go for him this week. All right, we want to do one more stock up. We'll go to you this time, Ryan, so you can snipe Anthony.
Well, like I said, this was kind of a last-minute one because he sniped me on mine. But I'm feeling Brandon Cooks this week in Miami. He's been playing really well this year. Heavy targets. Nothing really changed for him in the offense, which is nice. And it could be a terrible team shootout with Miami and Houston. There could be some serious points scored being neither team likes to play defense. And they're going to keep it close enough because they're both bad where he's going to be getting quality targets.
Yep.
And I think it'd be a really nice game for him.
I like that call. All right, Anthony, one more stock up.
The other stock up guy I had was Joe Burrow against Cleveland. I think that Cleveland, looks like a tougher out for him on paper than it really is. He's thrown multiple touchdowns every game so far this year. He's good. He's cooking again a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Browns is good, but giving up 4th most fantasy points to quarterbacks so far this year. And I think Burrow gets it done against Cleveland. I think even though Joe Burrow dropped that one to my Jets last week, he gets back on track against the Browns.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I hope you're right because Burrow's my replacement for my league with Aaron Rodgers. I had to put Aaron Rodgers on the bench, and Burrow's my replacement. So hopefully he pans out. All right, you want to get to the let's get to the prop bets.
Going for Two Live and PlayPickup.com present the Pickup Props of the Week.
All right, Prop Bets of the Week is brought to you by PlayPickup.com. Look for Play Pickup props embedded in all of our articles over at GoingFor2.com. You play those prop bets in our articles, and be sure to enter your phone number to verify your picks. If you are correct, you get points, and those points can then be traded in for free stuff. Visit playpickup.com for more details. We only have 4 props this week because one of the props was Aaron Rodgers versus Mahomes. Obviously, Rodgers has been ruled out, so that prop is no longer valid. But the first one here, and this one's a little bit tougher of a question than it was a few days ago, but the Packers versus Chiefs game, who leads this game in receiving yards? Your options are Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, or other. Ryan, I'll go to you first on this one. This one's a little bit tougher than I thought. I thought Adams would be a clear-cut winner in this one until Rodgers went out.
Yeah, if for Rodgers out, I would have went that way. I think I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Green Bay's is in the top 10 for defense against tight end. They're doing a really good job there. And Tyreek Hill has the most big play upside, where even if he's doubled, it only takes him 3 catches to have a monster game, where it's going to take a lot more for anybody else. So I think the chances of him exploding is just a little bit higher.
All right, I like it. Anthony, what you got? Adams, Hill, Kelce, or somebody else?
I'm going, and I hate to ever do this and give the he's due as my reasoning, but I'm going Travis Kelce because I think Travis Kelce is due for a Travis Kelce week. I'm not ready to write him off as old or washed or aging out.
No.
I think he's still a really good tight end, and I think he gets rolling a little bit this week.
All right, I am with Ryan on this one. I'm going Tyreek Hill. The field is with Tyreek Hill as well, but not by a lot. Actually, Kelce hasn't gotten any votes yet, so they're at 0% for Kelce. So the way play pickup works, if you are betting against the field, you get more points. So by having a 0% next to Kelce, if you were to get this one right, you'd get a shit ton of points. So good stuff. All right, the next one here is Deebo Samuel versus DeAndre Hopkins. More receiving yards in Week 9. Of course, they're playing against each other. I'll go to you first this time, Anthony. So Samuels or Hopkins, more receiving yards this week?
I think I'm going to go Deebo. Yeah, I'm going to go Deebo. He's, my only concern with Deebo all offseason coming into the year was
injuries.
Knock on wood, staying healthy, and he's been fantastic so far this year. So I think I'm going to go Deebo on this one.
All right, I like it. Ryan, who you going with on this one?
Didn't he just get? I just double check. They said he aggravated his calf again today.
Yeah, he's questionable again. He's basically going through the same routine he did last week. He didn't play or didn't practice today. They expect him to be limited tomorrow, then hopefully full by Friday. But we'll see how that goes.
Well, I'm going to assume they're both healthy then, because everyone lies. So I'm going to go Deebo. I don't trust Colt McCoy there. There's a bigger difference in QB, and I'm not taking that chance.
So is Kyler Murray been officially ruled out?
I thought he was.
I hadn't heard.
If he's not mobile, I still don't feel good.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think Hopkins this year has been he's been a good fantasy option because of the touchdowns. He seems to not put up the yards this year that he had last year. He's just getting touchdowns, so it's kind of bouncing things out.
The ball around well.
Yep.
He's done such good jobs. From a pure quarterbacking standpoint, it's fantastic. For fantasy, beat Hopkins, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I like Deebo as well. I think we talked about last week, too, that he's actually getting a larger target share than even Devontae Adams is right now. He's number 1 in the NFL in target share, so it's Deebo Samuels for me as well. All right, next one is Lamar Jackson versus Kirk Cousins. Who has more total yards? So obviously Lamar with the rushing and the passing, and then Kirk Cousins if he has any rushing, but mostly passing yards. I'll go to you first, Ryan. Give me who you think has the more total yards, Jackson or Cousins?
Yeah, I'm going Lamar. Minnesota. Homer, yeah. Minnesota's kind of a mess right now. They just lost Daniel Hunter too, which really hurts their pass rush. And I feel coming off the loss that Baltimore just did and a bye week, they're going to try to prove something. And I think it's going to go a lot of Lamar throwing.
All right, Lamar Jackson for Ryan. Who are you going with on this one, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm with Lamar too. The rushing is just a nice little bonus on top for his total yardage. But I don't know. I think Lamar looks like a guy, even in the the losses, he looks like a guy that has taken the next step as a passer. Like, he looks the most confident I feel like he has throwing the ball, whether like in the short game or downfield, even like counting that MVP like crazy efficient touchdown season.
Yep.
He just looks super confident throwing the ball. So I agree with Ryan. I think it could be a big passing yard week for Lamar, and the rushing that you get from him is just the icing on the cake.
David breakout from the last section. Mark it down.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm going with Lamar as well on this one, so we'll sweep it. Then we got one last one here. It's an over-under point total. So it's an over-under for the Rams-Titans game. The over-under is set at 52.5 points. We'll go to you first, Ryan. Over-under 52.5 points for the Rams-Titans game.
I'm going to go under. I think the Rams will get their points and do fine. Or maybe not as much because Titans have a decent defense. I think the Titans are going to have a real hard time scoring against the Rams.
Yep.
Like, the Rams already had a top defense. Just added Von Miller.
Yeah.
And then you take away the Titans' only real option out of their offense. Like, they're in bad shape. Like, this could be a massive beatdown.
Yeah, it definitely could be. What about you, Anthony? You feel the same way?
Yeah, like my heart wants to say the over, but because it's like my dumb fantasy brain just wants all the points.
Yeah.
But like my brain says the under for pretty much all the reasons Ryan just went through. I think the Titans will have a tough time scoring on the Rams, and the Rams could score a ton, and the Titans could score a little, but I think the under hits.
Yeah, I'm going under as well. Looks like the field disagrees, though. The field's actually going over on this one. I don't know if the field is sort of
all fantasy players.
Yeah, probably all.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
It's all fantasy.
Yeah, 100%. They want everybody to score. Julio's going to have 2 touchdowns. AJB's going to have 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you can write Cooper Kupp in for 2 touchdowns.
Yep. There you go.
Now we get the over already, man.
Yep. All right, let's get to some listener questions here. We got quite a few of them this week. I actually added a page. I wanted to just plug that really quick, that you can now go to goingfor2.com/ask and ask your questions there, and we'll answer them on the podcast. But as always, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. All the ones we got this week were on Discord, so you can also reach out to me on Discord as well. The first one here is from Ethan G. He wants to know if we would trade Stafford and DJ Moore for Melvin Gordon, CeeDee Lamb, and Devonta Smith. So again, that's Stafford and DJ Moore for Melvin Gordon, CeeDee Lamb, and Devonta Smith. And Ryan, I'll go to you first. And these, I think a lot of these are mostly redraft questions, and they're all pretty much PPR one quarterback leagues.
This PPR one quarterback?
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go the Lamb side. And it's close. I believe in Lamb's upside, even still this season, and growing in that offense. You know, DJ Moore's bald, and I love it because huge DJ Moore fan, obviously. But QB doesn't matter to me. You get a running back who you can start in Melvin Gordon, Devontae Smith, who has upside. Like, you get a few more pieces there for me.
I agree. I actually gave him the same advice. I said, you guys, CeeDee Lamb and Moore kind of cancel each other out. And then you got the running back that's startable. He may not be the all-world running back, but he's startable. Devonta Smith has the upside. So, yeah, I agree there. I think I'm going with that side as well. The next one I'll give to you, Anthony. He's got a 2-for-1 on the table. And the 2-for-1 is Devontae Adams for CeeDee Lamb, James Conner, or Damian Harris. So it's the either-or on the 2 running backs there. His current roster, he's got Kyler, Swift, Elijah, Latavius Murray, Devontae, T. Higgins, Ridley, Marvin Jones, and the Cardinals. So again, the trade was Devontae Adams for CeeDee Lamb and James Conner or Damian Harris. One of the 2. What you got?
Man, it's close, but I probably want an additional running back with those running backs. Like, it's nice to have DeAndre Swift, but after that, it's kind of a mess. So I'd probably take the CeeDee Lamb. And then I'll take the Damian Harris part, not James Conner, even though we just talked about his rough playoff stretch. So I'll take CeeDee Lamb and Damian Harris. Yeah,
I think I'm with you there as well. I think with the situation with his running backs, because you're right, he's got Swift, and then he's sort of, Elijah Moore is, good, but is he really that good, or has it just been a couple of games? So I agree. I think that having Harris there gives him a good RB2. CeeDee Lamb could still be a wide receiver 1 or a high wide receiver 2. I think I agree there. All right, next question we have here, Ryan, is from Seattle S. And he says, would you take, and this was a complicated one. He's got 3 different options here. So I'm going to give you all 3 options. You pick which one you like the best. Would you take Jacobs and Williams, which I'm assuming I don't know if that's Javonte Williams or Mike Williams. I'm going to go with Mike Williams because the other ones are all receivers too. So it looks like Jacobs and Mike Williams for Henderson, or Jacobs and Judy for Henderson, or Jacobs and Judy for Swift.
Okay, so he's trying to get the running back there. I mean, I definitely would want to get Swift over Henderson. Like, I want Swift over majority of players in fantasy right now. And if I could get Jacobs and Judy for Swift, that would be ideal. But I'd also do Jacobs and Williams for Judy if they wouldn't budge on that. Like, I have no problem with that deal. And if you're not getting Swift, I'd probably lean the Jacobs and Judy side for Henderson over Williams because Mike Williams has been balling. He just had a couple down weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's a bunch. Someone in the chat asked, "Is it Damian Williams?" And we got a bunch of Williams that we could have put there.
Yeah.
People need to put at least.
I'd accept the bottom, think about the middle, decline the top.
Decline the top. Agreed. All right, Anthony, going to you on this one. He wants to know, would you trade straight up? Would you trade Jamar Chase for Najee Harris? Current running backs are James Conner, Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, and Melvin Gordon. As receivers, just for the sake of this, he's got Devontae Adams, Deontay Johnson, and Jerry Jeudy. So again, the trade is Jamar Chase for Najee Harris.
I love Najee, but I'm not trading Jamar Chase for him. I'd rather have Jamar Chase and, if possible, try and flip, Deontay for a piece, or, Deontay plus for a piece, or Judy for a piece, and, settle for a lower end running back, because I think Devontae and Chase is quite the nasty wide receiver duo. I'm content to ride with that and, draw the short straw at running back a little bit, because, again, I know Chase didn't have the big, 200-yard week everybody wanted last week, but he's been fantastic, and it's not really going to let up. I think he gets rolling again just the same way he has for most of the season so far. So I'll keep Chase.
Yeah, agreed. I think if I was going to trade Chase, it would have to be Najee Harris plus, and I don't know if anybody wants to do that. So it'd be tough to kind of get that trade done. So I agree 100%. All right, we got 2 more, Ryan. Next one's for you. Another CeeDee Lamb trade. Is CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Dillon for Swift a good trade? It's a 10-man half-point PPR, which puts a little bit of damper on Swift a little bit.
I think it's a great trade. I like it. Like, Swift's a lock and loaded top running back who's going to get volume. Like, I have zero worries about him at all. So, yeah, I'm going that's that easy.
All right. Last one here. This one he wants to trade Kupp, and then he's going to receive Jamar Chase and Chase Edmonds. So Kupp for Jamar Chase and Chase Edmonds. What you got, Anthony?
I would do that. I would trade Kupp for. I would rather a different running back than Chase Edmonds, ideally. But I would, as Arizona would probably also want a different running back than Chase Edmonds. But I would trade Kupp for Chase and Edmonds, because Edmonds, as frustrating as it is that he's only gotten in the end zone, I think, one time so far this year, he gets the receiving work. He gets enough of the rushing work. The receiving work help balances out that he doesn't get a ton of red zone work or a ton of touchdowns. But as great as Cooper Kupp is, the next guy is Chase. Right? Chase is, close to just as good. The difference has been touchdowns for a lot of it.
It's like 4 PPR points difference.
Yeah. It's not a lot. The gap is really closed over the last couple weeks. So I would. It stinks to ever trade somebody that's been dominating like Kupp, but if you're getting somebody back dominant like Chase plus a startable piece at running back, I would do that.
We do have a question here in the chat, too, that I want to get to. And we kind of talked about him a little bit earlier in the show. Ryan, the question is Derek Gore the Zach Stacy of this year? He burned his number one wire thing on Derek Gore, and he's having to roll him out this weekend as flex. So, unfortunately, it's on Facebook, and they don't tell me what the name of the user is. It just says Facebook user. But is Derek Gore this year's Zach Stacy? I'm assuming he means the Zach Stacy that had the one good season and ended up winning people some championships.
Well, Facebook user 3652. Dude, I really think we're going for a letdown with Eric Gore. Like, I know he looked good, but he still had 5 less touches, and they had a very run-heavy game plan for the Chiefs. Like, they just don't do that. As much as we've all hated Clyde Edwards-Helaire this year, he's still better than whatever's in there, and he wasn't getting consistent fantasy points.
Fair.
Like, it may have been a mistake. Sorry, dude.
All
I
right.
would rather spend money on Adrian Peterson. And that feels terrible to say.
All right, that wraps up the listener questions. Let's get to our final segment of the night.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Anthony, we've had some pretty good ones this year. A couple of them that me and Ryan have been doing this almost for 4 years now, and we've heard most of them. But there's been a few this year that we had not heard yet. So you got to come strong here. What you got?
All right. I want to take you back. It's like 10 years ago. Take you back 2011. The year is 2011. It's week 16, fantasy championship week. And you started Chicago Bears running back Khalil Bell. And he went off 23 carries, 121 yards, 4 catches, 38 yards. And Mr. Khalil Bell helped win me a championship that year. So hat tip to you, Mr. Bell.
Nice.
You're gone but not forgotten.
That's
Phenomenal.
one. You came strong on that one because we definitely have not heard that one.
Like, everybody forgot him. That was a good one.
That was good. That was awesome. Yep. Good stuff. All right, fellas, that wraps the podcast up for tonight. Let's go around the room. Give us your Twitter handle one more time. And if you want to plug anything, we'll go to you first, Anthony.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Dynasty Drive. Like I said, the Dynasty Drive show comes out every Friday, and you can catch me with Ryan and Eric Adams on the Dynasty Draft Room every Wednesday. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Good stuff. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Ryan, what you got going on?
Find me on Twitter, Foss534, and find me on shows with both you guys. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. All right, as always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Be sure to check out all of our shows at the Going for Two Live Podcast Network. We got a show basically every night of the week. For Ryan, for Anthony, I'm Jeff. We will see you. Wait, what did I say? Did I say I'm Anthony? I meant to say
Yeah.
I'm. I said for Ryan, for Anthony, I am Jeff. We'll see y'all next week.